welcome back, people. Now, this one is going to be fun and very interesting, so I am doing another Music Monday. I know it's been a long time since I've been doing Music Monday reactions, probably for the last, I don't even know, however many weeks I've been doing more like self-development content, posting that on YouTube, but also using that as material for my podcast. And I've been doing that, for, like I said, however many weeks I can't even really recall or remember. So I kind of took a hiatus from doing Music Monday, but the reason that I had this idea to like regenerate it and, do another episode is, so I started listening to some more Falling in Reverse, and that was like last summer. I got a lot of requests surrounding Falling in Reverse and Ronnie Radke, and that's kind of like what took my channel off there for a moment, because, say what you want about Ronnie Radke and Falling in Reverse, but they have a very avid fan base, and I guess that fan base is just really interested to hear other people's opinions listening to their music. But so they just released like a few singles, which was... When was that? We have Voices in My Head and Zombified, which are both from this year, and I've listened to both of them. I really like the Voices in My Head single. The Zombified one is good too. But then I also went back, and this is a song that I hadn't heard of, but I listened to Coming Home, which is the first song off of their last album. Coming Home is what it's called, the title track. And that's honestly just one of my favorite songs, and going back and listening to this group just kind of really showcases, like, I'm starting to understand why people love Falling in Reverse and Ronnie Radke. And I think I talked about this in most of those Music Monday episodes when I was reviewing their songs last year. It's really impressive to see what Ronnie has done ever since, he went to jail and there was all that controversy surrounding him, and, there's a lot of haters, you could say. But the remarkable thing is that it seems like he's really turned his life around, and I think he's making some of the best music that he's ever fucking made. And it's really cool to see. Like I had mentioned in those previous videos from last summer, I didn't really know much about the Ronnie situation, and I kind of just took everything that I was hearing from other people, and I really let that formulate my opinion surrounding him. I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. But as I've listened to the newer music, over the last 4 or 5 years, you could just tell that like he's headed in a different direction, and the band's headed in a different direction, and all that adversity that he had to go through, although it probably fucking sucked ass in the moment, it's really, he's talked about this in most of the songs, but a lot of that adversity and shit that he went through made him who he is today. And so when you get to that point where now he's experiencing all the success, you can really appreciate it because you know how hard his life was before. And some of that was based on his decisions, but also just, circumstances and events that he went through in his life. But needless to say, so like big ass intro here, but I've just been interested in Falling in Reverse here lately. Like I've been listening to their newer shit, and then a few songs off of Coming Home, that album. I've been listening to that shit in the gym, so it kind of sparked my interest. So I went back and I watched some of those reviews I did last summer, and you guys were like giving me all those requests and whatnot, and like now I see why you guys requested that shit. They're just such a good band, man. Like they're always putting out catchy songs, and it kind of reminds me of A Day to Remember in a way. Like A Day to Remember is one of my favorite bands of all time. And no matter what artist, band that you are, you're gonna attract some haters in there. But A Day to Remember was really good at making catchy songs as well. So I don't know if that's what I gravitate towards when listening to Falling in Reverse, but I really dig them as a band. So without further ado, we're going to get back into another reaction. So I'm going back to the album Coming Home, and we're going to do the song Fuck You and all your friends. I don't know if there's a music video for this. I'm not going to look it up on YouTube. I'm just going to listen to the song off iTunes, and then I'm going to bring up the lyrics and see how it makes me feel. I just chose a random song, so we'll see what happens here. And I really like the cover, by the way, too, because it's like there's an astronaut suit, and then in the reflection of the mask or whatever you would call that, the thing that goes down, the glass that you can see through, it looks like a house or something. Really interesting artwork, and besides their talent level as a band, musically, lyrically, and all that stuff, they have a, I think I said this as well last year, they have a really great essence of telling stories, and then also their music videos are very captivating in the visuals and like all the shit that's going on, that it's like you really have to pay attention to get the full picture. But all right, here we go. Falling in Reverse. Fuck you and all your friends.
This will be the last song I ever sang about a person that I'd rather not name. You think you're so goddamn cool. Everybody thinks you're a fucking fool. Crash and burn on a car ride home. It would be a lot better if I slit your throat. It's time for me. Why don't you wanna sing this song? And now you're better off without you. I'm talking to a foreign car. Real rules like a time bomb ticking in your soul. You're always searching for the next best thing, and it's for the better. So I guess best friends don't last forever. I taught you all about breaking hearts. I didn't know that you would take it that far. I never thought after all these years I would be the one that made you disappear. And time for me. Why don't you wanna sing this song? And now you're better off without you. Talking to a foreign car. Real rules like a time bomb ticking in your soul. You're always searching for the next best thing, and it's for the better. So I guess best friends don't last forever.
Is there going to be a breakdown? It's getting quiet. Yeah, I couldn't pause there because I don't know, I was just flowing with the song. Very simple in terms of lyrics. I mean, it's kind of out there and in the forefront for anybody to observe. I don't think there's like a whole lot of depth to the lyrics. If I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it was as catchy as some of the songs that I've listened to that I really gravitate towards, but I don't think it's a bad song by any means. Certainly, again, like I said, the content is just very simplistic, talking about I guess, losing friends as you get older, and that friendships weren't made to last forever. Somewhere throughout the song, I was kind of confused. I wasn't sure if he was talking about a breakup or friends, because I mean, it could be applied in both of those areas in your life. But I think this is maybe a song that we could all relate to, because as you get older, you go in and out of friend groups, you lose some friends, you gain some friends, and that's just part of life. I don't know where this subject matter comes from, if it's from the fact that like somebody fucked him over and then probably felt the need to write this song, but it is a universal theme that we all, I think, have experienced at some point. I would say right now, I mean, I do have friends, but I feel like, I don't know if I would call myself a loner. I just like spending alone time with myself. I don't like being around people, but it's a double-edged sword, because then you definitely get lonely at some point. And you miss being around people, and then you almost kind of like want to get into a relationship. So it's a very weird paradox, because I don't really know what the balance is. It's like you could be in a breakup, or like going through a breakup, being with somebody, and you're not happy, and then at that moment you feel so free that now you're finally on your own, and then once you're on your own for a while, then it's like you want to get back in a relationship. So I don't know what the balance is. I'm just saying, though, that I think everybody has had that universal experience where you lose your friends as you get older. They start to have different interests. Their lives start to get more complicated. Your life starts to get more complicated. And I think that's kind of like where I've been at for the last few months, because I got a new job back in April, and it's kind of like switched up my schedule and my routine. And I'm very thankful for that, because now I get up earlier and I go to bed earlier. But yeah, especially like on the weekends. So I work Monday through Friday, and I don't know, even on the weekends, like I don't really hang out with anybody except my family. And it makes me wonder, like, should I be searching more for that companionship, for that friendship, for a relationship? It's not something that you should ever really be looking for. But there has to be effort if you're trying to attract friends, if you're trying to attract a partner. And so I don't know what the balance is. And there have definitely been moments, like, you know, over the years as I've gotten older, where you hold a lot of resentment towards some of your friends, as you can feel that divide grow and get even bigger. But like I've mentioned many times here, it's a universal theme. There are just some friends that are temporary, and you know, you may be friends with for a few years, and then things change, and then you don't hang out with them. For me, it's not like a selfish decision, but I always like some of the friends that I cut off over the years, or if it was like indirectly cutting off, like not like I had to have this conversation and say, hey, I'm cutting you off, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. I stopped hanging out with people that weren't bettering their lives, that weren't bettering themselves. And I hope that doesn't come off as egotistical, because it's not. Your environment shapes who you are. So if you're constantly around people that aren't living your values and your belief systems and aren't challenging you, then I think at some point you would have to audit your circle of influence, the people that you're around, and say, okay, maybe these people aren't helping me become the best version of myself. And so that's where I guess you could say, lost a lot of friends over the years. But in the long run, it made my life tremendously better, because when I was younger, especially going through high school, I mean, you're influenced by your peers and just the trends and things that are going on in society and culture. And so, you know, I started drinking when I was like 14 was when I had my first beer, and I thought it was cool to like get fucked up and party and whatnot. And I never really went to big parties, but me and my friend group, we all, you know, would go to someone's house, or when the parents didn't know that we were partying, and start drinking or whatever. And then it wasn't until I was 19, I think it was when I was 19, that's when I first started smoking weed. And I smoked weed for like 3 or 4 years, until it did a number on me, because it gave me more anxiety than anything. And so but a lot of those decisions between drinking alcohol and smoking weed came from not 100% wanting to please my friends, but I thought it was the cool thing to do. And you obviously want to fit in with your peers, especially during that age. It's so critical. It's something that like all of us almost fiend for, is we want the approval of our peers. And so I did a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have done, especially for a adolescent brain that was growing up and nurturing and taking all of that stimulus and all that information and kind of forming my beliefs and my values. But yeah, definitely as you get older, you just kind of see that some of your friends just don't align with what you actually want to do. And that's the beautiful thing with age, is it's not necessarily about finding out who you are. It's more so about figuring out what you're not. So it's like the process of elimination, where you take away all the things that are not bettering your life. And in turn, that will lead to things that are more nurturing, things that will fulfill you more. And so this is a very long explanation, but every time I listen to a Falling in Reverse song, even if, like with this one, like I said in the beginning, that I didn't really care for the instrumental or the lyrics. Like it just didn't catch like other Falling in Reverse songs, but there's always an angle that I can find, or something that I can appreciate about it. It doesn't mean that I hate Falling in Reverse and Ronnie Radke. And again, I don't know what the premise is for creating a song like this. I don't know what his experience was, or people in the band, if they had a similar experience where they had friends that fucked them over, so they wrote a song called Fuck You and All Your Friends. I'm just saying, again, it's something that we can all probably like reflect on and be like, yeah, so I had friends at one point that I don't know, mistreated me, or whatever it is. We just grew apart, and that's just one of the undeniable aspects of life that we all have to come to grips with. And I mean, I would say, even friends that I lost last year, but where I'm at now, like I still even have moments where I feel like I'm kind of losing some friends that I've had as stable friends for years. And I'm not going to name any names, but there are a few that have just kind of fallen off. And it's, again, I don't know. It is sad. And it's definitely not easy to always swallow. But yeah, as you get older, you just kind of realize that that's going to happen, and you don't fight it as much. And you just deal with it. But anyways, that's my reaction. I feel so fucking rusty on this Music Monday. I just chose a random song and went into it. You know how it is. You know me, I always go on my rants. I think that's probably one of the things that makes these reactions a little bit unique and special, is like, hey, we're going to play the song for you, Cole, but where the fuck is your mind going to go when you're listening to it? Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's any suggestions that you have, I looked at some of my older videos from last summer, from like suggestions that you guys gave me. So maybe I'll go into those. I felt like Falling in Reverse would be a good start. Sometimes I do my own rap interest. Like I haven't even listened to Kendrick Lamar's new album, so maybe I'll do a song off of that album. I'm not entirely sure. And I've said this many times before too. I never really know what I'm gonna do on a given week. I think that's what's cool about the YouTube channel and doing podcasting, is that there's so many different formats. One week I could do Music Monday, the next week I could do a podcast with somebody, which I haven't done in a long time. I do have one set up this month. And then I got my self-development content. Lately I've been posting shorts. I've been taking old clips and cutting them down into shorts, because that's a little bit more digestible for you guys. I've also done like vlogs in the past, like poem videos where like I write in my journal and I pull that excerpt out of it, and then I go film some footage around town, some nature, some scenery, and kind of layer that on top of it. So there's literally like so many forms that I could go to and do for the channel. But yeah, I kind of had an itch to get back into doing Music Monday because I had been listening to some of Falling in Reverse's shit here recently in the gym, and I was like, you know what, like I miss reviewing music, man. And it was just such a cool experience last summer. Like I literally had no idea that you guys were gonna come out of the fucking woodworks and watch my videos. Those music reactions still to this day pretty much they hold most of the views off of my channel out of any videos that I've posted. So it's just kind of cool how music unites people, and everybody comes from a different background and perspective. And so like I'm gonna say things on these reactions that are like way in left field or right field or not accurate at all, but hopefully nobody, I know there's some haters out there that have been on my videos, they're gonna forgive me, or they're gonna kind of correct me and be like, oh no, this is where you went wrong. But music is a subjective experience. I'm never trying to like tear any of these songs down or the artist down. Like I may not like it, like even this one right here that I just listened to wasn't my favorite, didn't really catch me, but sometimes that happens, I mean, there are even like A Day to Remember tracks. There are a few that never really hit with me, but a majority of their songs hit. That's why they're one of my favorites of all time. But same thing with Red Hot Chili Peppers, same thing with Mac Miller. I think pretty much everything that Mac Miller ever put out was good, but there was a few songs that were kind of subpar, or at least to my liking. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna stop rambling. It was so good to come back on here and do a Music Monday with you guys. If you have any suggestions, if there's any song you want me to cover, any artist that you want me to go over, please comment and like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, talk about it with somebody, one of your friends or like-minded people. That's the best way to grow this channel. When you like and you do all those things, it actually takes my videos and puts them into the YouTube algorithm and bumps it out for more people, so it becomes more recommended. And you guys probably know that. You know how social media and the internet works, but I'm just saying, just do your boy a little bit of diligence and put my shit out there, because it's not a lot of work to make the video and the podcast, but it's time consuming when you come down to it, of like recording and then editing and then putting it out there. And you never know when a video's, I guess I haven't caught on to it yet, but I never know when a video is going to flop or do well. So anyways, I will talk to you guys next week. Thank you guys. Love you. See you later.